about 18 months ago, I started to go lame. I was certainly gradually, I did use a stick to start with, and then gradually it was 2 sticks, and then eventually crutches. And we then went to the Royal Berks privately first, but then moved to the Royal Berks because what had happened, the titanium pin in the centre of the femur had broken, or two-thirds up the femur had broken, and it broke the femur as well. And I was in intense pain when we eventually diagnosed it. Well, then I had to. Then they realised it would be a major revision, which it certainly proved to be. Raj came along and provided the necessary equipment to make life easier, helped me survive because it was painful, and the aids are of vital importance, and the first easier came with a Zimmer frame, so I was able to move around, and of course they then provided the necessary bath equipment as well, and toilet, so that you were able to use the toilet and use the sit-on chair while you were washing, and general housekeeping was much easier like that. But I stayed like that from April to July, when in July I was re-operated on again, and the femur rebuilt for the 3rd time, and according to the surgeon, the last time. Soon after surgery, Simon appeared, and we started with various exercises, like being able to stand up and sit down on a chair was some of the simple ones, and then being able to walk within the room and walk. Yes, I particularly remember one of the things was I suppose it was several weeks on when he tried to get me to walk backwards, and that was incredibly hard. That was. I'd already walked around in my figures of 8, but walking backwards was pig. Yes. And then yes, we got walking outside, because I live on a farmyard which has irregular surfaces around, but we managed. I suppose it must have been 3 or 4 weeks before we went out into the yard and started walking down towards the village and the pub, and eventually we were able to walk. Yes, probably best half a mile, and then return back to do the exercises in the house, like climbing stairs and using the aids that he'd advised, like the handles on the entrance door into the house, and particularly on the stairs, which were it's a small cottage, so there's difficult staircases, but the ones that twizzled round the corner were particularly help, and they still are. When I go upstairs, I'm able to use that now, because although we've done a lot of exercises, the femur, the left femur is still weak. It's still obviously weaker than it was. Not surprising, because it's a piece of Italian machinery that fitted in, but it certainly fitted in well. I'm now only I can walk with one stick, climb stairs, get on off the toilet. Not in the bath yet. I use a bath lift, which is also prescribed by Simon, and that's very successful as well. The organisation of Therapies on Thames and their office services are excellent. Yeah, Raj was very good in the beginning, but Simon is fantastic actually. He's also an interesting character, as well as being a very good physiotherapist. He's very careful, and careful and interesting, and he's interested in you as an individual as well as the physiotherapy, which I think is important. It's all important to have confidence in your physiotherapist and one who's extremely capable, because I've had physiotherapy on several occasions in life, and Simon is certainly one of the outstanding ones. My neighbour saw how well the Therapies on Thames had treated me. Then when he had a new me, he eventually also employed Therapies on Thames. And I know that he acknowledges Simon's skill as well.
So once you'd worked out what was going on, we very quickly got Raj involved. And he was, immediate almost with getting, helping us access the right equipment, and advising on not just the right equipment, but how to do the transfers safely and as pain-free as possible for Dad. So Dad was basically living with a major fracture in his thigh for about 3 months.
Yeah, longer.
So it was, the simplest of tasks, like getting in and out of bed, on and off the toilet, any movement was agony, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
And he didn't have direct therapy during that time period, but the advice and the equipment was, you said it helped you survive, didn't you?
Yes, it did, yeah.
And that's probably not an understatement, because pain is so invasive. The care in the Royal Berks was great. It was really good. Dad was very poorly, a bit touch and go for a few days. The physio and the OT in the hospital was super, but as soon as he was discharged there was nothing. So it was straight back to Raj and Therapies on Thames, and Simon did start coming within a week or two, I think.
Yes, yeah.
And at that stage Dad had no confidence whatsoever. You didn't really want to move, did you?
No.
But you were able to stand on crutches, weren't you?
Yes, yeah.
But with help with transfers. So the first thing that Simon did was start to build his confidence, and Dad said about just standing up and sitting down to start with, and that was enough, wasn't it? At that stage?
Yeah.
And that just moving around the house was probably at least a month or so. As you gradually built up your confidence, you did lots of exercises on the bed as well, didn't you?
Yes, we did, yeah. Well, that was ideal system here.
Probably after about a month or so, it was about taking the step in and out of the house, which was a big step, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Starting to take steps, because you were still on crutches then, weren't you? The Zimmer and the crutches.
Was it? Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And then it was about walking outside.
Walking outside, up the yard and down the yard.
And then it was about doing the stairs, but we had to put some adaptations in, didn't we, for you to be able to do the stairs. And then it was about starting to walk a little bit further.
Yeah.
And your final goal, your personal goal, was to get to the pub.
And we did.
Dad and Simon walked to the pub and had a drink.
Yes.
And then got a lift home. Simon always made it about what you wanted, didn't he?
Yes, yeah. I'd said, he was involved.
Yeah, he was very person-centred, wasn't he? Yeah. It has been, it's given Dad his life back, really.
Yes,
it's a bit cheesy, but it has. You were in your bed or your chair, and you got quite depressed at one stage, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
You've got your joie de vivre back, I'd say. And that's a team effort, but Therapies on Thames definitely contributed a huge amount to that.
Yeah.
And Dad wouldn't be where he is today without that support.